Okay. Uh, we're talking about community policing. We got 13,000 police in Chicago. And one of the things that the mayor have to understand how to deal with community policing. One of the things we got to deal with, we're dealing with the violence in our major city. Uh, on Mondays, on Blog Talk Radio, we have the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. movement. That's from 11 to 12. We talk about the social issues, and we talk about the civil rights issue and the human rights issue. We go in details with that. On Tuesday night, we talk about ancestors. That's from 11 to 12 on Blog Talk Radio. You're invited. You can call that number 714-816-4685 and you get right into the studio. On Wednesday, we go into our Bible class. We talk about the social issues of the Bible and where we should be with our ministers, with our churches, with our rabbis, with our imams, with our preachers and bishops, and all the clergy, where they should be at on Wednesday. On Tuesday, we deal with metaphysics of the Bible. We deal with the rappers and with Tupac and Biggie and some of those that came, what they're saying, what does their rap mean to us today in 2016 and 2017 going to 2018. Now, on Friday, we have the $1 trillion flow. And today is Friday, $1 trillion flow. We're talking about finance, the money that the city of Chicago have paid out for policemen, and the money that people have paid out in the city of Chicago, and the money that people have paid out in Detroit and New York for police protection, for police paying. Now, one of the things that I want to share with you and share with many of you what's going on. This some of the stuff that's going on today with the police department. This was going on within New York, Chicago, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Jackson, Mississippi, Dallas, Houston, New Jersey, Indianapolis, Indiana, all across the length and breadth of this nation. This is what's going on. I want to tell the mayors of these cities, the mayor of Baton Rouge, the mayor of Monroe, the mayor of Shreveport, the mayor of Dallas, Texas, the mayor of Houston, the mayor of Birmingham, Alabama, the mayor of Greenwood, Mississippi, the mayor of Greenville, Mississippi, the mayor of St. Paul, Minnesota, the mayor of Indianapolis, the mayor of Indiana, the mayor of St. Paul, Minnesota, the mayor of Las Vegas, the mayor of New Mexico, for the mayor and the police department. The police department met here on last Tuesday, on the 7th, the last Monday of the year they met to come up with a strategy, but they didn't come up with a strategy to stop the killings. Now, we got a double thing here we got to deal with, people. We got to deal with the crime. We got to deal with the lack of the police department taking action. We got to deal with the lack of the Congress not taking action, and law enforcement officials, judges, clerks, those that are in the judicial system is not taking action. Now you might say, Bishop, why they're not taking action? I'm going to tell you why they're not taking action. And I'm going to tell the mayors, anybody listen to this now, this is what got to take place if we're going to bring our country back together. This is what got to take place if we're going to police 13,000 policemen or 14,000 or more than that in most of these major large cities. Crime is off the board, and then killing of young black men and black women is off the chain. And you might say, well, Bishop, why? There's a reason why, and I'm going to tell you why and what we got to do. If you go to YouTube and catch my tape, I got universal divine law from God. Now, when you read that, when you look at that, it's going to tell you what I'm going to do. Now, I want you to go to my Blog Talk Radio for 7 days a week. On Sunday, I'm preaching the gospel. On Friday, we're doing the $1 trillion flow. Like tonight, Friday, we're doing the $1 trillion flow. And I want you to be involved in the $1 trillion flow. And number one, you need to set up your own business. You need to talk about setting up your business, going into business. And you need to network, black, white, brown. There's no reason why you don't have your own gas station. You don't have your own business, your own grocery store. You don't have your own banks. It's time that we got to begin over $13 trillion buying power. We don't control none of it. It's coming out of our hands, go back out. We don't own General Motors, Ford, Chrysler. We don't own none of the car dealership. And I don't know how many black dealerships we have in America. We used to have about 10 here in Chicago. They disappeared. We used to have clubs from 35th all the way to Hudson. They disappeared. Our housing market is gone all to hell because the big banks and Wall Street didn't see fit to fund the houses. So we caught in a situation where we got crime and a lack of jobs. Our young folks need jobs. So that's one of the things that we need. Our young folks need jobs. And they're not getting jobs. That's one of the things, one of the problems we have. Our young folks is not getting the jobs that they need. So if they ain't getting the jobs that they need, we stay in a situation where we stay in the blind. I want you to get ready tonight to experience what's going on and experience what's happening throughout this country. And when you experience what's on this country, we talk about our angels, Michael, Raphael, we deal with them, but you have to experience the violence that's going on. You have to experience that's going on. When you experience, you have to work with it. Now, I'm going to give a recipe to come out of the violence that we're in. Number one, we need community policing. We need a group of people that will community police our community. That's number one. Number two, we need a community review board. This community review board will see about what's going on with the policemen, them a shooting and all of that. Now, once that community, police can't protect themselves. They can't see up themselves. You have the community, pastors, lawyers, mothers that will be sitting on that board to make a decision that will be inclusive for all the people involved. Number three, you need every cop tested for drugs. We need to do that once a month. Every officer, 13,000 officers need to be tested once a month for drugs. Some of the cops are on drugs. They ain't telling nobody. That's why the killing going on. And we need, after they're tested for drugs, if any shooting or killing take place, or any shooting, they need to check in with the psychologist and see if they're stable enough to do what they need to do. I think that's important. That's important to make a stable police department around here. This is what the federal government should be asking for. This is what the Justice Department should be asking for. Community policing. That means they pair up with the community, they talk about the issues, they come out, they don't do that no more. They come out and kill. So it's important for the Justice Department to demand a background check on every officer they got, and what group or organization they affiliate with. That's is key, and it's very important to have a drug test for policemen all over the country, because most of them is high on drugs. If they on medication, they need to be off of duty till they can come back. They need to have a prescription that they on these drugs or these pills that they're taking, because it make them not act properly. A lot of the killing was men that was hyper on drugs, and this is some of the stuff that's happening. We have officers that is full of drugs trying to police the community, and they cannot do it because they playing with the dope dealer. They getting drugs over here and drugs over there. So it's important to understand that we need community policing, and we need it done properly. So what I'm saying to you, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. movement, along with Mount Sinai Baptist Church, Dr. Coleman, House of Prayer down in Louisiana, House of Prayer in Chicago, and all the ministers, Pastors Conference, the Illinois Clergy Association, the Mississippi Clergy Organization, and throughout this country, we need to move to every police be tested once a month for drugs. They need to take a drop. They need to see if they're clear. Can they serve and protect people? I think this is the most important thing that we have to do, and we're talking about getting back to making our street safe. The judges need to take a test once a month, and the DA need to at least have a drug test once a month. All those people at the high level need to have the drug test, because they're dealing with people's lives every day. And some calls the judges made, I know they was high and they was emotional. And some police shot people, they was emotional and they was high. There's no other reason why these people being killed like what happened in Ferguson, what happened in New York, what happened right in Chicago, shooting in the back. It's 4 or 5 young ladies shot in the back, and 16 shot in a cover-up with the mask. And I just feel that it should be a duty that city workers, even the mayor, that's in critical, and with the county, that in really critical conditions, they need to take a drug test. The state police, the Cook County Sheriff, they need to take a drug test once a month in order to keep things transparent. If that don't happen, we won't be able to get a handle on what's going on, because we are caught up in drugs. Most of our problem is drugs related. In the suburbs, in the city, it's drugs and action. And that's some of the things that's going on, drugs and action. I want to say to you, on the $1 trillion flow, you can make your business and you can make it grow. You got the network. You have to relate and talk to people. And I want to thank you, Queen Hope, for your business up and running. Florida, I want to thank you for your business up and running up in New York. And I want to tell you up in Minnesota, your business up and running. So I want you to get ready for God to bless you in 2016, 2017. This go out for you and you. Listen to me. Listen to me. And I said again, listen to me. Every police officer need to be tested for a drug. You have a drug test at least once a month, if not twice a month. And if you come up in a shooting, you need to be immediately get to the psychologist and be tested, see what your mental capacity is. And every cop need to be background checked by the federal government. I mean, thorough background check to see what they're doing and how to deal with them. And I want to say to you, Sister Francis, and I want to say to you, Sister Mary, I want to say to you that have lost some things, and I want to say to you that all is well, but in doing that, doors are breaking open. And when doors breaking open, I want you to be able to take care of that. Body, mind, soul, and spirit. And I want to tell you tonight, as we talk, and I want to let you know, policing is very important. And to do proper policing, that you must have the police officer, you must have a community task force. I'm telling y'all tonight that's sitting here that we must have a community task force. And that community task force got to be people, preachers, mothers, working people that need to be able to sit down and make a decision. Did this police do the right thing? And once you do that, then after that, we need every police, 13,000 police here in Chicago, but around the country, they need to be tested for drugs once a month. They need to be tested. Each one should be tested for drugs. And this is going to cut off because a lot of them using drugs and other officers won't tell on them. And then we need somebody else to touch and to break down the thing. Now, one of the things we need them 13,000 here in the city of Chicago need to be tested and mental checked out and the background check to see if they affiliate with the Ku Klux Klan or any radical group that they affiliate with, and they cannot serve on the police department around the country. This needs to be done from a federal level. If they can get body cameras, if they can also get bulletproof vests, we can deal with the mental part of them, and that's important what we got to deal with. And I want to tell you tonight that's as important for us to move on that level to deal with the drugs. And that's what happens. And they got to deal with what's going on. And as we deal with that, that's what's going on. So it's very important to stand and open up doors. So in order to bring transparency where everybody can feel safe, and what happened in St. Paul, Minnesota, what happened in Ferguson, what happened in Baton Rouge, what happened in Dallas, what happened right in Chicago, what happened in Cleveland. These are the things that we have to stop. This is the thing that we have to do to make it work. If you're a police officer, you don't want to take a drug test, you can get fired. If you don't want to go take a mental test once a month, and because of the action, they need to take a psychiatry test once a month. They need to take a drop once a month. They need to take that drop once a month based on how tense the job is. And it's very important. Now, this is something that we have to do in order to stop the killing and save the babies. We must have citizens, school teachers, ministers, working class people, doctors, to sitting on the board to be able to see if the police did right or they did wrong. We need a citizen review board, not officer, citizen, common people that they deal with every day out in the street. So that's one of the things we got to do. We got to look at this situation as if we got to deal with community policing. We need in every police station a community type of organization where we can do community policing right along with the police. But when there's a problem in the neighborhood, you bring the community policing in, just talk to the neighbors, see what's going on, see that. So it's money involved for community policing that the government got the money. And they can release it to neighborhood groups where they can have community policing. And community policing can go on. So community policing will be able to take care. Community policing will be able to take care. Tonight, as I talk to y'all, community policing will take care. Now, what we need citizens to review the police. And one thing we need each one of them to take a drug test. And that drug test, they will take Omodoro. And that drug test that they'll take will open up the door. As they take drug tests, they will see if they qualify, see if they right, and see what the doors open up for them. Them that is qualified will keep them on the force. Them that not qualified, we can't keep them on the force. So it's a win-win situation for the community, for the city of Chicago, because the cities are spending trillions of dollars paying for police on drugs, police beating people, police killing families, and this is some of the stuff to stop that. And we ain't got to go up on our income tax, go up on our housing tax, because we can save trillions of dollars by make sure that the police department across this country is being monitored by the feds, and the tests that they take should go into the feds. Every officer should be connected with the feds. And I know it's a responsibility, but the federal government need to involve that. And when they involve that, the feds should take care of that. So the feds should take care of that. And when the feds take care of it, the feds got a database on every office and have a database on what's going on in Chicago, New York, California. And that database will show what's happening, and that database will get him a database of what's going on in our community. So it's a win-win situation for the police department to be transparent. It's a win situation for the citizen and the review board, and for the city of what happened in Baltimore, what happened in Cleveland. The money that these cities have spent out in Ferguson, in Dallas, and Houston, the money they spent out could be saved if they change their policy. Because you got officers that is on drugs and running the street, harassing people, jumping on people, and going by with it. You got some police that jumped on people and never been did to them. So with the community review board, it's going to change that around and turn that to another level. I think that's a good thing when we start with the community review board. In the spirit of Reverend Dunlap, who fought in Chicago, and Leatherwood, Reverend Al Sampson, Reverend M.L. Sarden, Reverend Scoy Freeman, Reverend Edmund Blair, Reverend John Thurston, and many others that have fought here for the right, and Mama Annie Bacon. And I just feel that this, what I'm saying on Blog Talk Radio, it go out for everybody. It really go out for the people that have lost children, been murdered by police department. Now, as I turn that around, we can do better policing to catch the ones that are doing drive-by. The murder is among us. The murdered people is among us. Being among us, things are happening. And where they're among us, we must take charge. Sister Chelsea in Romulus, and Sister Mary Hawkins in Detroit, and Dr. Christian in Detroit, Brother Fred in New Hampshire, Brother Smith up in New Jersey, and Brother William up in New York, and those that are in Mississippi and Alabama and Georgia. I feel that this got to take place globally, all over the country, and it got to be done by the Justice Department. The Justice Department come in and say it's a racial problem. We already know that. They have to come in and declare it's racial. When blacks being profiled, blacks being killed, it's already, we already know that. But what you gonna do to change it? The only way you do the change is change the minds of the people and change different rules. And the way you do that, by coming with a new policy. My policy for the neighborhood is community policing across the country. Now, we can get that done. My other thing, that the federal government got to, right there, the federal government, the federal government got to come in and do locally, but it go nationally. If you're a policeman in Chicago, it's got to be a federal law that you be tested once a month for drug abuse. For just like you're driving a plane, like you're on a train. The feds must do this, and if we're gonna change, I want to let the Justice Department know that the FBI, every phasement of the government need to be tested for drugs from top to bottom. I feel that this is needed in order to bring transparency back to the whole law enforcement and the judges, because no justice, no peace. And it seems like the judges and the police and the state attorney is all together. They getting high together, they drinking together, they using dope together. So to make it transparent, you got your car where you just had a drop, you clear. If you clear, you should be able to go on the street. If you clear, you ought to be able to get on the jury. If you clear, you ought to be able to be a judge and make the right decision. If you clear. So it's very important that we be clear from New York to New Orleans, from New Orleans up to California, from California up to St. Paul, Minnesota, up to South Dakota, North Dakota, all over this country. We must change the way we police. We must change the way we look at the community. Most police departments look at the community like they the enemy. We're not the enemy, we're citizens of America. By being citizens of America, it's lots of rights we're supposed to take care of. And the rights that we take care of for us. So it's very important to deal with the rights and deal with what's going on with the citizens of America. So once you do that, it'll open up. And once it opens up, it'll break. And once it breaks, it'll open up. So it's important for us to understand what's going on and what's going on happen. And that will open up. And that will open up. And I want to tell you, if you be involved, every church, every minister should be involved, and everybody should be involved in the point of community policing, involved of people being healed and delivered. It's very important for that to happen all over the city. Here in Chicago, we have 13 officers. It's very serious that one chief cannot monitor these 13,000 believers, but if they're taking drug tests, taking psychiatry tests, they can be monitored, and we can have a safe police department. This is what we're working at. You can call me at area code 773-629-005, Bishop Turner, Cedar Abraham, Dr. Martin Luther King Movement, and I want to let you know, we go on Block Talk Radio, that's Block Talk Radio, right on this every 7 days a week. And I want to tell you, you can call, go to Block Talk Radio, YOLOsite.com, Bishop Turner, you can get my website. It's very important for you to get on board. It's very important for you to call the bishop. I want to be part of this movement. We're going to petition, pass a petition. Mr. White from Fayette, Mississippi, involved, and you'll be listening to him on the radio. He's going to give a spiritual point of view. But we got to give a spiritual point of view, a physical point of view, and we got to do the point of view that to save our lives. Every mother should get on board. Every parent that lost a son or daughter in the shooting. Then we're going to deal with the citizen killing citizen. That's the next part we're going to deal with. Because if you're a good police, you can catch the criminal. But if you're on drugs and you're sick, you can't be able to catch them. So it's very important for you to understand where we at, what we doing, what door need to be opened up. This is real talk and serious. And I want to thank Brother Purvis Span, WVON, Brother Dale Span, Brother Melanie Span, that's been kicking it all over. I want to thank you up in Minnesota that been doing a good job and doors open up. And I want to let you know that we can break this yoke. and we can bring transparency. In the spirit of Commander Hunters, who passed, in the spirit of those officers that stood and fell by the wayside. They fell because they weren't properly monitored, and the soldiers coming home that are sick, and we have to work with them that are coming home, joining the police department, and they have no treatment, and they have not seen a psychologist. They haven't been drug tested, and they in kill mode, they in violent mode. They're looking for a good fight, but this ain't the place. America ain't the place to fight and kill its citizens. This ain't the place. So it's very important for you to get on board in 2016 to 2017 in order to solve this problem and get it together where we can break the yoke. This evil, this is spiritual warfare. We got to break the spiritual part of the physical part of it, and we have to do it together. I'm going to thank you for coming, because I want you to know yoke's going to be broke, doors going to be open. And I want you to call me. I want you to call us, or you can be involved. I want you to go north, south, flow in the right direction. Every person that comes today, every person that listens on Blog Talk Radio, you're going to bring them on Blog Talk Radio, and you can go to YouTube and get it off of YouTube too, and pass it around, let people know how serious this is, what we have to do, the plan that God gave us to break this yoke. I want to thank all the reverends, all the imams, all the bishops, all the missionaries, in the spirit of Hamilton, in the spirit of Martin Luther King, in the spirit of Elijah Muhammad, in the spirit of Malcolm, in the spirit of Muhammad Ali, in the spirit of Marcus Garvey, who said that we need to separate, in the spirit of all the saints, that we need to do that. And I want you to know that tonight. And I'm looking for us to work to let that happen in a good way. That's going to happen.